ضيفنا اليوم لم يصنع مجده في شهور أو سنين، بل ب7 أيام فقط. قبل 18 من فبراير لم يكن اسمه يعني شيئا في عالم الرياضة، إلى أن قرر خوض تحدي جولة حول محيط قطر مشيا على الأقدام. بيير دانييل بطل تحدي رن أراوند قطر قطع 477 كيلومترا مشيا على الأقدام، واستراح في ختام التحدي ليجلس معنا ويروي تفاصيل القصة ويطلعنا على جوانب خفية في رجل يعشق تحطيم الأرقام. فأهلا ومرحبا بكم. Up until February the 18th, Pierre Daniel was working for Aspire Academy here in Doha, Qatar. A regular guy with a regular job and a nice family. Then he decided to run 477 kilometers around the perimeter of Qatar on his own. Enthusiast or madman?
A bit of everything, I think, a bit of both. I've been called crazy a few times. But every time people tell me it's the right kind of crazy, so I can live with crazy. It's good. Yeah. Crazy for adventure, definitely.
Crazy for what?
Yes, crazy for life, really. You know, crazy about life, crazy about excitement and being active. Yes.
Pierre, if you embark on a project like this, you have to be so committed and love what you do. Is that the case for you?
Yes, I mean. It takes definitely preparation, physical preparation, and mental preparation too. So there is the challenge of running around Qatar, definitely, but there is also all the preparation because we really wanted to deliver something to people. So that took a lot of work as well before the challenge. So yeah, definitely it took huge commitment even before I started running.
So tell me, how did you sit down and make the decision that you're gonna run around Qatar?
It happens very casually, actually. It's like I've been doing a lot of different sports and endurance sports. I've done Marathon des Sables last year, and I've walked a lot here in Qatar. So I've walked like from the Corniche to Doha. That was my first one in 2012. I've walked from Zubarah to Doha, just compass on maps. I've walked from the inland sea to Doha again. So it's not really my first attempt. But then I don't know, it's like I think everything, I'm just like, okay, let's just do it, you know, and I think immediately I'm checking feasibility and I go for it. You know.
There's so much for you to share with us about this experience, and we will do that in a bit. But first, let's dive into your past. Your professional sporting life started with ice.
Yes.
Tell us the story.
Yeah, well, you know, I was one of those I'll say hyperactive kids, but I was a good kid, but I just had a lot of energy. So my parents decided when I was around three and a half, you know, to put me into playing ice hockey. And 20 years after, you know, I was Premier League in France, you know, so that's, sports has always been part of my life, you know. And besides this, I was already doing outdoor sports like mountaineering and health. So yeah, I don't think I can stay still for a long time.
Do you ever think of playing ice hockey since we have a league here in Qatar?
Yeah, so yeah, it crossed my mind a few times. Before that, I didn't really have the time because, you know, once you play in a team, you need to commit to certain times and certain hours. You know, when you do individual sports, you can accommodate family life, so it's a bit easy. But yeah, it's definitely still in my heart. It was really heartbreaking to stop, you know, it felt really bad for a while. Yeah, now I'd love to maybe just do ice hockey again. Yeah.
Now, who or what inspired you to get into endurance?
Well, I started with cycling, really. Like, I'd never been really cycling before, and someone contacted me. And because he knew he had done all those walks. He's a good friend of mine, and he's was one of the people that really brought cycling back to Qatar, and he was organizing charity cycling rides, you know, in Europe. So he reached me and he was like, Pierre, you should come and cycle with us. And I was like, oh, well, it was like hundreds of kilometers. I was like, no, I'm not sure I can do that really. Hundreds of kilometers cycling is not that much in the end. But it was like, yeah, man, you've been walking across Qatar, so surely you can do cycling with us. And I started cycling. Shortly after, I was doing triathlon and I was doing cycling competitively here in Qatar. And then I started doing Ironman. And so, you know, like, it's a snowball effect, you know.
I thought your wife inspired you.
My wife, she's running too. No, my wife, she's very supportive. Like she understood it was part of my life, so she's always here. So actually, yeah, he was a colleague of my wife at the time, so that's probably why. And she kept on. She's the one actually told him, yeah, my husband is doing all those crazy things in Qatar. So yeah, you're right somehow. Yeah. She's the one who brought it up. So she's just as crazy as me, I guess, because she was crazy enough to tell, okay, you can go ahead and have your fun. You know, this is how supportive she is. You know.
Pierre, explain to me. You have a wife who inspired you into endurance sports, which requires the ultimate dedication and hours spent training, and you have 3 children.
Yes.
How do you make that work?
Well, she's very busy herself, you know. So I think the way we were, the vision for our partnership in life, you know, has always been to help the other develop as much as he could, you know. So I'm fully supportive of everything she does. She's playing music. She's a marketing professional herself, so she has a very strong career. So I think we're very happy for the others' happiness, you know. So being both very active, we understand that we need to make it work one way or another, and we manage our time really well, I think. You know, it's all about time management and energy management. We see our kids a lot. You know, people may think, oh, they're always gone. You know, she's doing her thing and he's doing his thing, but not at all. We spend a lot of time with them. We're trying to get them in, and you know, how do you say, engage them in everything we do as often as we can. Yeah, they're running with us. They're cycling. Now they're big enough to tag along, so it's amazing. My son is 2 years old, so he's too young, but he's very frustrated. He wants to do it with us too. So every time we have a chance, we make them part of any challenge or any project we have. You know, that's the key.
Pierre, let's get back to the Qatar Challenge. It's not straightforward. You've done it for many reasons, and you were trying to get powerful messages.
Yeah, so it was 2 key reasons, and I think the challenge comes from my love of being active, doing all those physical and mental challenges, and my love for Qatar.
Yes.
And I think the 2 strong messages that I was trying to convey are the following. It was a demonstration of human potential. So what does that mean?
Importance of the human body.
Exactly. Not only me. Like my message really is that what I've done, I think everyone can do, and I'm really convinced of that to an extent. So the message is like we are way stronger mentally and physically than we think, and anyone that wants to follow their dream and dare to try and dare to fail as well will realize that their potential is immense. The second message was my love for Qatar. You know, I've been here for 10 years now.
You wanted to show the beauty of
exactly,
Qatar.
You know, I've been outdoor, and there's too often people that think that there is no natural beauty here. You know, you hear it a lot, you know, still. So it was one of the many ways to showcase Qatar natural beauty, because I knew I would be running across all those amazing landscapes. It would be really selfish to keep it for myself.
Pierre, there was great thought behind the challenge. Is it fair for me to say that you thought about and planned it in a very intellectual way?
Well, yeah, as I was saying, I wanted to deliver.
System.
Yes, yeah, okay, there's that as well. So we really wanted to deliver something for people, and that's why the challenge started way before I started running, because there's 6 months of work, not only training. You know, there's 6 months of putting together a portal. So the Aspire Technology department has helped me with that. They already had developed an application for the Samla race. So the application at the time was here to guarantee the safety of the athletes. So they wanted to be able to monitor and track people to make sure they were in good health and not to lose anyone.
They were alive.
I knew they had that system in place, and so I just went to the head of the department, really, the director of the department. I said, I'm going to run around Qatar, and I think your tracking system could help me just bringing sports excellence to people. And they totally embraced it, and they did an amazing job. So the challenge was to turn a back office interface into a public interface. And there's so much we could do more, you know. It was very short time, but they've done a tremendous work. And the people from Aspire were here 24/7 during the challenge as well to make sure that the tracking system, I had a phone in my front pocket, you know, a mobile phone specifically dedicated to that.
Can I see?
No, I gave it away, but so I had to carry all that phone all the time. I had a strap on my chest, you know, and that was not for me. That was just to make sure that people could track me live. There is a lot of stories, of course. Sometimes they were confused. Like sometimes we lost the network. Sometimes there's that moment when I reached the border where we caught the Saudi network, so it was a moment of doubt because I didn't know if I was across the Saudi border or not by accident. So we have a lot of stories really. But yes, you're right. I really wanted to deliver something to people, so that's why as well I made sure that there was a team of cameramen that were following me from time to time. So we have all this amazing footage that very soon we will deliver in the shape of an exhibition at Qatar.
Pierre, you were the only person who did this,
so,
or to do this here in Qatar?
Yeah, so I'm actually not the first one to run around Qatar. There is a Qatari that's done it a few weeks before me. So he's done it with a full support team, and he's run a 400 kilometer loop around the country. So I think the challenge in my case was to do it without any support. So I had to find my own food, my own water. I had to do my own orientation, and I was carrying that 15 kilos backpack on my back all the time. And I met as well randomly on my tour on day 2 that man that he had walked apparently, but I want to know more about the story. So I want to meet him again. He had walked it with a friend 40 years ago when he was 18. So yeah, just like that, just like a crazy challenge, just like I did mine, you know, they decided to walk around Qatar. So him and a friend just started walking around the country. So I'm not really the first one to have done it. I think I'm definitely the first one to have done it without any support and that crazy loop as well, yeah.
Pierre, as a challenge, definitely it was a success. How was it as an adventure?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's like to get back to my wife. Like you're absolutely right. She's a cool person, and so sometimes people were worried. So I didn't have support team, you know. So I did it without support. So I had to source my own water, my own food. I had to do my own orientation, and I had to do it with compass and map. No GPS technology was involved. So there is some dark times where I was the only one that knew where I was, you know. So obviously the communication team and the technology team, they were freaking out a little bit, and they were like, is he all right? And they were worried. And my wife, she was like, yeah, don't worry. He's having a great time there, you know. So she absolutely trusted my skills, and so, yeah, I had a great time. Even in the darkest moment, I made the right decisions, and I took control of the situation, but these are really life-changing situations, you know. That's also why I'm doing that, because, you know, life is short, and I really want to make the most of my life. And I think it's always good to put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Tell us about the most beautiful moments.
There is a few. There's beautiful landscapes. There is human moments as well. There's a cameraman on day 3 that leaves because he had planned leave. So he couldn't follow me anymore, and he actually burst in tears because it was really emotional about just going, because I had suffered a lot on day 3. I had hypothermia, I didn't sleep for 32 hours, so day 3 was very hard physically, and so he saw me dying and then coming back to life like about 100 times, you know, that night. So it was very emotional. And then after I had hypothermia, I got better. And then I started running. It was like maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, so pitch black. And I started running again, and the camera crew at the time, they were there, so they were filming. and I could run again. So I had a moment of joy because I was feeling strong again, and I started running again. So I turned to them, you know. I was like, guys, I can run again. I was very happy with that because I was feeling so bad just before. And at that exact moment, we all saw a shooting star, you know. And we all went, wow, that was like a little thumbs up, you know, from the sky, you know. So it was really nice. So that's probably one of the timing was just perfect, you know.
So it wasn't plain sailing. There were some difficult moments.
It was a lot of difficult moments here. I think, you know, I had a plan, and a lot of experienced people actually look at my plan. They were, Pierre, your plan was very ambitious, you know. I think it's because I'm trying to be as positive as possible. And a lot of things went wrong. You know, on day one, I was already 4 hours late on schedule because the weather was so hot that day. No one was expecting that day to be really hot, and I started already a bit late. So on day one, I was already 4 hours late. On day two, I had 60 kilometers of headwind, so it destroyed me. So by the end of day two, I arrived around midnight, you know, which was really not planned. So I had to start day three after only 1 hour of sleep. And then I pushed through to day three, and day three was like 110 kilometers, so I knew it was a tough day. And it got really cold at night, and I had hypothermia, so I had to make the right decisions and cover myself and force myself to eat food, you know, even at that moment you don't want to eat anything, and get strong again and carry on walking. So yeah, there is some really tough times. The last day was another 28 hours day. It was really tough as well, and I remember being so tired when I reached Doha. I was actually running along here, you know, on the Corniche and Hels, and I was still so far from Qatar. It's still 10 kilometers to go, and I was exhausted. I remember bursting into tears at that moment. You're like for a few minutes, and then I was strong again. But it really stripped you out of everything. You know, there's no pride. There is mental strength left. You know, but you're back to be a little kid at that moment. You know, and you just carry on. You know, no matter what.
Did being on this adventure fuel another one of your passions, being an artist?
Yes, I've been lucky to have a designer's career. I grew up in a very arty environment. My dad was a designer, and my grandfathers as well. My great-grandfather was a painter, so it's always been running in the family. So it gives you eyes to see things, which is the blessing, really. That's how you can see the small flowers, you know, with those colors. I've been posting about those desert flowers, you know. You really have to open your eyes to see them. And I've been painting Qatar a few times and sketching falcons and else. So it actually makes me want to do more of it, you know, because I've stopped when the kids were born, actually. It's not their fault at all, but you know, you need to be on your own to paint. So I need to. So I thought to stop painting, and I put my energy into other things. Now I definitely want to paint more and get back to it.
You are the only person who did this. You have set a world record. Is it official?
So yeah, I want to moderate that. There is a Qatari as well that has run around Qatar with assistant, with a team. You know, he did a 400-kilometer loop a few weeks before I did, and he's very strong. So I want to give him credit as well here. I think the challenging part in what I did was the fact that I didn't have supports.
You were alone?
Yeah, I was alone, and I had that 15 kilos backpack on my back all the time that really killed me on the first 2 days.
But is it official or not
yet?
We're
putting together evidences, and they will most certainly certify it. The reason why I wanted to do a record is not for praise and glory. It's because I wanted to leave something behind.
You wanted to put it in Guinness Book?
Yes, exactly. So inshallah, it will be in the Guinness Book.
Are you going to do this?
Yeah, it's been done already, and now we just need Guinness to certify it, you know, because afterward we're putting the evidence together and they will certify it. I wanted to do that, and inshallah it's going to be certified. To make sure to leave something behind, you know.
Of course,
if they certify
it's a legacy.
Yes, exactly. Not for me. It's a legacy for Qatar, because it's one of the only records, as far as I know, maybe the only one that you have to be in Qatar to do, you know, or come to Qatar to do it. It's based on Qatar itself. So I hope that it gets certified first, and then I hope that many people will try to attempt to beat it. You know, I'll be very happy to be.
Do you think anyone can beat it, or for example, do you think you can do it faster?
I could do it faster, most certainly. But anyone, I mean not anyone, anyone that trains for it will definitely beat it, because I had 15 kilos on my back. I had to do my own orientation, find my own food. That was definitely not the best conditions to do a record. But again, it was something I wanted to do, to be able to leave something behind, not to be the strongest in the universe. And it was just really just to leave something after the challenge is over.
Personally, Pierre, you have achieved a lot out of completing this challenge. Do you believe now it captured the imagination and the attention of others?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's amazing what's going on in Qatar right now, actually, because, all right, I've done this, and it's a bit of a crazy challenge, but you see a lot of people right now in Qatar, and a lot of Qataris, that are very active and then do a lot of challenges. So sometimes not in Qatar, they're traveling a lot, you know. So there is a lot of very, very active Qataris. A lot of them are my friends as well. They do like thousands of kilometers of cycling in Japan, and they all cycle now around the world, and some are doing running and crazy challenges. So I think this is happening not only to me, this is happening to Qatar. So Qatar is becoming, and was in the past already, and is becoming again a very, very active nation, and this is incredible. Yeah, I'm very happy with this.
Could it become an annual event? Or, for example, is it the type of event or experience that companies and businesses here in Qatar would like to support in the future?
So yes, there is a few very similar events now in Qatar. It's definitely something that we had in mind even before I started the run. So we're working on that, and hopefully very soon we will have something to deliver to the public. So yes, this was an intent. Well, maybe a run around Qatar race, you know, let's see.
Okay. Pierre, there is another endurance race here in Qatar known as Samla.
Yes.
Definitely you're familiar with. Is it an event you would like to compete in?
So yeah, it's a very exciting event. So I live the event through people I know, because I know a lot of people that take part of it. So at the moment, the event is only open to Qataris. I don't mind this approach, by the way. I think it's nice as well just to preserve and protect the local culture. So I don't mind that. But yeah, it's a tremendous event. It's very exciting, and they don't do only running. You know, they do shooting and kayaking and cycling and horse riding, I think, I'm not sure. But it's a fantastic event. Yeah, and what I like about it as well is like it's really anchored into the Arabic culture, you know. So yeah, I think it's an amazing event. Definitely, I would love to take part.
Your challenge was well covered on social media. Do you believe there is a room for more coverage on traditional media in the future?
Yeah, so the response from the public was incredible, and I had people chatting with me on Instagram all the time. I was making sure that I was always responding to every single comment, even during the run, and it's the best thing that could happen really when people start taking ownership to your challenge. So I could definitely see that there was a huge interest from the people, and they were they were ready for more too, because you know, when I finished the challenge, I had people writing to me, that was incredible, what are we gonna do next week? So they were really following it day to day, like a little TV show, if you may. So yeah, I'd love to do more of that. I think there is a room for it, and if there is anywhere there outside that is interesting in developing more of those experiences,
TV coverage.
Yeah, TV coverage, even some. Any media would be good for that, but I think really if you need the right support to do those things. I'm definitely ready to do more, and the people are definitely ready to receive more of those adventures, and especially if they take place in Qatar. Just like that, you know, I was running, and there were so many stories coming at me and opportunities. So I've got a lot of ideas right now that I would love to see come true.
Pierre Daniel, thank you so much. We wish you best of luck in the future, and it was a real pleasure meeting you.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.